Welcome, seekers of truth and wisdom. Today we delve into one of the most profound stories in the Bible, the story of King David's greatest mistake and how it transformed him into a humble servant of God. This true story is not just for believers, but for anyone who seeks to understand the power of repentance and redemption. David's greatest mistake, a story of humility and redemption. King David, a man after God's own heart, had reached the pinnacle of his power. He had united Israel, conquered enemies, and established Jerusalem as his capital. But even great men are not immune to temptation. One evening, David got up from his bed and walked around on the roof of the palace. From the roof, he saw a woman bathing. The woman was very beautiful, and David sent someone to find out about her. The man said, "She is Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam and the wife of Uriah the Hittite." Then David sent messengers to get her. She came to him, and he slept with her. Then she went back home. Bathsheba conceived a child, and David's attempt to cover his sin led him to a darker path. He orchestrated the death of Uriah, placing him on the front lines of battle. The weight of his actions began to press heavily on David's soul. In the morning, David wrote a letter to Joab and sent it with Uriah. In it he wrote, "Put Uriah out in front where the fighting is fiercest, then withdraw from him so he will be struck down and die." God sent the prophet Nathan to confront David. Nathan's parable of the rich man who stole a poor man's lamb pierced David's heart, revealing the depth of his sin. David's response was one of profound repentance. Then Nathan said to David, "You are the man. This is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says, I anointed you king over Israel, and I delivered you from the hand of Saul. I gave your master's house to you and your master's wives into your arms. I gave you all Israel and Judah. And if all this had been too little, I would have given you even more. Why did you despise the word of the Lord by doing what is evil in his eyes? You struck down Uriah the Hittite with the sword, and took his wife to be your own. You killed him with the sword of the Ammonites." Bathsheba gave birth to a son, but as a consequence of David's sin, the child fell gravely ill. Despite David's fervent prayers and fasting, the child did not survive. This loss struck David to his core, teaching him a painful but powerful lesson about the gravity of his actions. David pleaded with God for the child. He fasted and spent the nights lying in sackcloth on the ground. The elders of his household stood beside him to get him up from the ground, but he refused, and he would not eat any food with them. On the seventh day the child died. David's attendants were afraid to tell him that the child was dead, for they thought, while the child was still living, he wouldn't listen to us when we spoke to him. How can we now tell him the child is dead? He may do something desperate. David's heart broke under the weight of his guilt. He penned Psalm 51, a heartfelt cry for mercy and forgiveness. Through his tears, David found the path to humility and redemption. "Have mercy on me, O God, according to your unfailing love. According to your great compassion, blot out my transgressions. Wash away all my iniquity and cleanse me from my sin." David's journey of repentance did not erase the consequences of his actions, but it transformed him. He became a more humble and compassionate leader, deeply aware of his need for God's grace. Then David said to Nathan, "I have sinned against the Lord." Nathan replied, "The Lord has taken away your sin, you are not going to die." David's greatest mistake serves as a powerful reminder of the human condition and the transformative power of repentance. His story teaches us that no matter how far we fall, God's grace is always within reach. For believers and unbelievers alike, this tale is a testament to the possibility of redemption and the enduring power of humility. Until we meet again, may David's journey inspire you to seek forgiveness and embrace the transformative power of God's love. Subscribe to Storytelling God's Love today.